What's going on, everyone? ODC here, and I'm back with another action figure review. Today's review, we're going to take a look at the Marvel Legends Modular Iron Man action figure. Pretty self-explanatory. This is one Iron Man figure I was actually really looking forward to. Self-explanatory as far as the Marvel Legends series go. We pretty much know what to expect at this point for most Marvel Legends. I mean, they've been going on for quite a while. The packaging is very similar. It's kind of all blending together as far as that's concerned. We do have the very 90s animated series and also even just comic book looking modular Iron Man here. Same thing goes for the artwork on the back. He is a part of the Ursa major wave, which is actually a quite good looking Build-A-Figure, to be honest with you. It's not anything that I'm really interested in picking up. I don't really have too much interest in any of the other characters in this wave other than Ultron. That Ultron looks pretty decent, but I do have the Marvel Select Ultron, so I might skip it, to be honest with you. Other picture of Iron Man right there, and that's pretty much the packaging. Let's not waste any more time, and we'll be right back with him out of package. Okay, and we're back with Iron Man out of packaging, and I gotta say, this is actually quite a well-done Iron Man figure. Personally, I like the way this looks. It was always between this and this look in the comics for me, and then in toy form, it was always the Marvel Superheroes removable armor modular Iron Man. I always called him the modular Iron Man because you could remove his chest piece, his leg pieces, his armbands, and his helmet to reveal the head. So the old Marvel Superheroes figure of Iron Man, he was like one of my favorites because I could constantly just take the armor off, put it back on. It was pretty durable for the most part. I didn't have too many issues with that. Maybe one day if I track another one down, I'll do a review of that and we could kind of compare and contrast. But hopefully we get that version in kind of like a vintage card back. That would be really cool with removable armor and stuff. We still have yet to get anything like that as far as fully modular type of Iron Man. Hopefully we get that in the future sometime. Maybe one of these companies, it doesn't have to be Hasbro necessarily, but one of these companies will do that. But anyway, talking about the figure here, he actually is pretty well done. He's simple, like most Marvel Legends, very simple in design. It's nothing too convoluted. You can remove these pieces right here, and they can also plug into his feet. So if you wanted to get him into flight poses, you could. And you can utilize those arms. But one thing I really feel like this figure could benefit from would be a butterfly joint. I think they're really, really close to getting that kind of ultimate style Iron Man down. I feel like they're just a little bit away. I also feel like the hinge joint on him is really well done. He can really get into good flight poses. The good thing about these hands as well is that they also do have hinges, where the old ones were kind of fixed into this kind of thrusting or blasting pose. You can actually pivot that hinge now downward, which is a plus. I don't believe the anniversary Iron Man had that. I think he had these hands, but in fixed poses, which isn't, still not the end of the world. And I'm pretty sure we're going to test it out and see if these hands can fit the older one too. So if you wanted to swap them, you could. But we're going to test that out and see if that works. But he can get into flight poses, no issue there. There's really no problems for concern or anything like that. You can get him kind of turning or looking to the side, whatever you want to do. I am having to sit the ball peg a little bit looser if you really want to get that neck all the way back. But it stays on there pretty well, so you don't have to worry about it too much. And if you wanted to remove those, you could. So those are the effect pieces that he comes with. We're pretty used to those at this point, but he looks pretty damn good. I picked him up for $20 off the Evil Bay. There was actually a seller that sold him for regular retail, so I got pretty lucky. I don't know what he's going for now. but I wouldn't pay more than retail. I think he's got a release date of a little bit later. I want to say September, October now. I know the Amazon one I had on order said October 19th was the official release date. I ended up picking this guy up a little bit earlier just because he was available for, like I said, that regular retail price point. If you do want to remove the hands, he does come with extra hands here. So we're just getting into accessories first here. And don't worry, no, I didn't have any Master Chief issues. So we'll just pop those extra hands in. And they're just pretty much the same fist hands that the Anniversary Iron Man came with. So that's fine. And so, who fell over? Oh, Jerome fell over. Stop falling over, Jerome. Get your shit together, please. But there's Iron Man with his fists in. He looks the part. Like I said, it's a Marvel Legend. It's pretty simple. Nothing too crazy going on here. But it looks the part. And that's really all you need as far as Marvel Legends go. I guess you kind of just need them to look the part, do their thing. They're kind of... they are what they are at this point. We know what to expect with them. I want to say that the hinge joints on the arm are a lot better than the Anniversary Iron Man. And just to kind of bring him in here really quick, I don't know, they're about the same. So good, still solid range of motion here. This hinge joint on his arm has always been very deceiving just because it looks so shallow right here, and then you can get this full range of motion up here. So it's really well done overall, and this was kind of my go-to Iron Man. The only issue I had with this Iron Man was his ankles are a little bit kind of a pain in the ass. They're a little bit loose on him, but as you can see, it's pretty evenly matched as far as range of motion in the arms go. Same thing goes for the head. I want to say the head looks up still pretty well. The new one looks up a little bit more than the older one, so there's that to look forward to. That's good. And then just bringing these arms down as far as that's concerned. Still no, like I said, still no butterfly joint. You get a little wiggle here. You get a little wiggle here too. I don't think that's intended though. There's definitely no butterfly cut joint there. Like I said, hopefully in the future we get that. His head can look down about that far. As far as his articulation does go, with the comparison, I'm not going into full articulation right now, just kind of showing comparisons between the two guys. I want to say the original look, the OG look, and this kind of very 90s Iron Man. And it looks like the classic gets a lot further. I think it's just a sculpt, but as you can see there, as far as comparisons go, it's a little bit deeper with the classic. The hands are very similar to each other. Let me just get the hand over here. Very similar to each other. They are a different sculpt, but they're very similar. As you can see, the sculpt over here, the hinge joint's really deep into the sculpt there where it's very shallow here. I tend to like this better. Let's go ahead and see if we can swap these hands out if you wanted to, if you're curious about it. I'm sure someone's going to ask that in the comments somewhere. Can you swap the hands, please? And I did, and there you go. The reds actually do match up pretty well, so there's no issues there. And if you want to pop this off and then pop it off. Come on, man, pop it off. But you could, and I feel like that really does sync well. So the reds do match. The candy apple red does match, so it looks pretty good. No issues there. Let's get his head up so he's not looking at the ground the whole time. So if you wanted to use these hands with this version and use the fist hands with the 90s version, you could, or vice versa. Whatever you want to do, like I said, your toy. Figure out what you want to do with it and do it. Go for it. Personally, I like the fist hands. I just kind of like a nice team vanilla pose for the classic version. For the 90s version, I might get him into a little bit more of a dynamic pose with a 90s. I don't know. It's tough to say which one I want to use now for my Avengers look. I might go with the modular one now. The one thing that this one doesn't have that this one does have is the marbleization of the chest piece. It might not be coming off very well on camera. Let me try and readjust my lighting here. And everything's rolling around. Stop rolling, please. You'll see that the candy apple-ness or the marbleization of the chest piece is a lot more predominant in the modular new figure, the 90s look, than the classic look, the anniversary look. If we flip around to the back, you'll see a lot more marbleization here in the red than here in this red. So, and it's kind of hard to pick up. Like I said, it in hand, you'll see it. Let me see if there's anything with the thighs. It's not really too noticeable in the thighs. I don't notice anything too much. Obviously, the boots are different and everything. So there's a full comparison with the classic Iron Man there. As far as Iron Man's articulation does go, his head can look up about that far. And like I said, you can get a little bit more if you just pop it off that hinge, and you can get him looking a lot further back. And it does stay on that peg rather well. You can pop it down and then pop this head all the way down. That's pretty much his head going way down. His head can tilt side to side, so we get a little bit of head tiltage, a little bit of confused dog, you know. And then let's see if we got jive turkeys. Oh, yeah, we got some jive turkeys over here. So there's a little bit of jive turkeys for you. The neck joint does move a little bit. There's a little bit of a swivel there. Okay. Arms go up about that far. Down, you can do a full 360 rotation in the arm if you need to. I'm not sure why you would want to, but you can do it. Full 360 in the bicep swivel. We do have a double jointed pinless elbow there, which is nice. Swivel at the wrist, swivel at the wrist, and the hinge joint goes back and forth. Same thing for these hands. They just go back and forth. They don't go up and down. We have also pinless here, where we had pins here for the anniversary one. So this is much improved. We do have an ab crunch, which goes forward. It does go back, so if you need a little bit more help with the flight poses, that ab crunch will help you. Swivel at the waist. We do have T-jointed, deep T-jointed hips. He can really get into the splits. Now, this is what drives me up a damn wall, is that Iron Man can do splits like this and Spider-Man can't. I just like, why? Most Spider-Man figures can't do this from Hasbro, but Iron Man can. Oh, what a world we live in. Anyway, legs go forward, legs go back. We do have an upper thigh swivel. I'm just kind of testing things out here. We do have a double jointed knee. We do have a boot swivel, which is hidden beautifully. Aces. And then we have a ankle hinge, which is a little bit locked up on this side. So I'm not going to try and force it too much. I don't want the ankle to snap, but I also need to show ankle articulation and range of motion here. It's very tight here, and I'm really trying not to force it. So there you have kind of like a click into place right there. I'm not really sure if I like how tight these ankles are. They're kind of a bitch to get moving, but I'll just use some hot water eventually. I literally pulled this straight out of packaging. So, and then we can get this ankle up again. Ooh, man, that has me worried. He can point the heel about that far, and he does have 2 peg holes at the bottom of his feet. So if you want to get a flight stand for him, or if you wanted to put these effects in there, or if you wanted to, I don't know, somewhat get him a stand or something like that, you could. And then we do have ankle pivot. So there's full articulation there for Iron Man. Okay, as far as the posing segment goes, I mean, you can get him into pretty awesome poses if you want to do whatever you want to do. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing here. But for the posing segment, let's just see if we can get him kind of standing here. Now let's get him like this, bend those knees, and we'll get him kind of, he's enraged here. He's pissed off. We got pissed off Iron Man. And we'll get him kind of upset about what he has just heard. And what is he going to do about it? I don't know, but he's got these fists kind of, there we go. He's ready to rumble, man. He's ready to go. This is a really nice looking Iron Man. Very nice looking as more weapons fall off my weapons rack. Looks good. Like I said, he's easy to pose. I just start working from the ankles up. And that's pretty much it. The back of him, not too much as far as sculpt and detail go. The majority of him is kind of just a, I want to say for the most part, just a red plastic. Nothing too crazy. I want to say the gold paint looks really good on him. Maybe we'll get a yellow variant, and it'll appease all the people that are upset about him not having yellow. But I'm perfectly happy with this gold version. I think he looks the part. He looks good. He looks like he's Iron Man, straight out of the comic. Like if they were to spend a little bit more money on the comics back then and make this gold paint really shine instead of that yellow that they intended, you know, I think that we would have a non-issue here. But looks good. Like I said, there's not too much sculpting. You have the chest that's sculpted nicely. This piece right here going across for the upper armor is nicely sculpted in. You can actually feel that texture right there. That's good. The whole ab section is sculpted nicely. This little piece right here for the belt piece is sculpted nicely as well. I don't have any issues with paint slop or anything with him. It's pretty simple. I think a removable helmet or head would have worked wonders here. You can use the anniversary head on here. Technically, I think it works better for the anniversary figure. I feel like the helmet's a little bit bulkier, a little bit bigger for him, as opposed to this guy. He's got a little bit more of a smaller helmet, a little bit sleeker design. So I don't know if that anniversary head really works for him. It looks kind of large compared to even the helmet. So personally, I'll just wait for a different head for him, or I'll just display him like this, because this is, like I said, this might be one of my favorite armors. The Bleeding Edge armor was my favorite for a long time, and this might be my favorite Iron Man. I want to say almost probably these two are probably the best out there. The classic, you can't go wrong with the classic version. It's just timeless to me. It looks great. But this one really captures or encapsulates my, I guess, younger readership growing up. So I guess this is when I actually kind of started reading Iron Man, was the Modular Iron Man era. So there's that to point out, I guess, in case anyone cares. Okay, so first set of size comparisons. I mean, I just had to get my War Machine out. This is one of my favorite Marvel Legends, to be honest with you, this War Machine figure. How it came packaged, everything that came packaged with it, it's a fantastic figure. I still like the Toy Biz one. I feel like this one, though, it really just encapsulates that character. And it's nice to see that we got the roadie head and everything, and it was just a well-done figure. He does stand a little bit taller than Iron Man here, and Cap. So that's pretty cool that this guy's a little bit taller. He should be a little bit taller. It's a little bit of a bulkier armor, so I think that makes sense for him. He's got a good height with Cap, I think, and I don't have any issues with that. I mean, there is supposed to be a guy in this armor, so it makes sense that he's a little bit taller than Cap, but not too much taller. But I think all these work together as far as these 90s characters right here, as far as these designs for the 90s figures. And now I think it's pretty much decided. I think I might have to do a separate classic look for my Avengers with the classic anniversary Iron Man, and I'll probably put him as my default Iron Man in my Avengers collection. Okay, and just to give you one more comparison with the Iron Men here, we've got the classic version on the right, and then we've got War Machine on the left. All right, next up, we've got two more Marvel Legends. I'm going to do a couple Marvel Legends comparisons just so you get a good comparison size chart. We've got the vintage Spider-Man, which is probably the best Spider-Man figure made by Hasbro. And then we've got Quicksilver from the Family Matters 3-pack. Okay, next up, we've got 90s Thor on the right, and then we've got Luke Cage on the left, and I think they stack up really well. I feel like, and his knees are actually bent. I think his one knee is actually bent a little bit. But these two are essentially on the same body. I think there's a little bit of retooling here, but that's just how they stack up, and I think they stack up pretty well with this Iron Man. Okay, next up, we've got a DC Mcfarlane Multiverse figure in the Justice League Batman on the right, and then on the left, we've got a Star Wars Black Series figure. Okay, next up for comparison, we've got a case of the Jeromes. We've got we've got the Jazzwares / Wicked Cool Toys Jerome on the right, and then on the left, we have the Mattel Jerome. Okay, and last up, we've got the Mafex Batman on the left from Hush. That's the Hush version. And then on the right, we've got the WWE Mattel Ultimates Shawn Michaels action figure. And I just had to throw in a wrestling figure. Why not me? You know. Okay, so final thoughts on the modular Iron Man from Marvel Legends. I gotta say, you know, I'm actually pleasantly surprised with this one. I guess, looking forward to it a little bit more, and I find myself always doing that, looking forward to a Marvel Legend more than when I get it in my hand. But I gotta say, this one, for the most part, is pretty well done. I would have liked an alternate head for him, an unmasked head. That would have been nice. Or even one that just had a removable faceplate. That would have been cool. I also would have liked butterfly joints on him. I feel like the next Iron Man needs to have butterfly joints added to the figure. But other than that, I like those two little gripes. I don't have any issues. There's, I guess, if you really want to nitpick the shit out of something, you could say, oh, these hinge joints are red and they're not gold. Who cares? I don't really give a shit about that. I'm not going to sit here and cry baby a river over a hinge joint not being the same color as, I guess, that arm. But you know, I guess it's personal preference thing. You know, if it's something that really upsets you. But I think this encapsulates the 90s Iron Man to a T. I think it's really well done. There is, like I said, one more thing if I can nitpick is the marbleization on the armor. I guess that's a thing that's tough for them to get rid of. It didn't seem that tough for the classic version, but I guess it's a little bit tougher here for this version. Regardless, I think this is still a good, solid figure. He does not come with a Build-A-Figure piece, so you don't have to, you know, have some extra piece lying around that you don't want. He just comes with the the 4 hands, excuse me, not the 2 hands, the 4 hands and the 2 energy pieces. And I think that's kind of all he needed, except for that alternate head. I think that would have really kind of pushed this figure up the charts as far as from being a decent figure to a great figure. He's simple. You know, he is what he is. He is what he needs to be. He's like Popeye. I am who I am, I guess. He's just another Marvel legend. Still looking forward to getting the Walgreens Nova and the Walgreens Quasar. We're going to have a Quasar party. I'm going to do something special for Quasar because he's one of my favorite characters. Anyway, but talking about Iron Man here, I think this is still a 2 thumbs up. I would give him a recommendation. If you don't have the classic one, go get this one. It'll feed your need as far as, I think, a solid Iron Man figure. God knows there's more than enough Iron Mans to go around, especially recently. But I think this is the one that you could pick out of the bunch that would kind of stand out to you. And we haven't had an update of this figure since the old Toy Biz days and that 2-pack with Mandarin. So, and I still have that figure. I don't know where the heck it is somewhere. But maybe one day I'll do a comparison video with this one. But I've seen comparisons of it, and this one just blows it out of the park. That older Toy Biz one. So the proportions are better. It's just an overall better looking figure aesthetically. But aesthetically, form and function, I think it fits the bill. And I would say give it a full recommendation. So, but that's pretty much it for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you for watching as always. And I'll see you guys on the flip side.